Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you called Titanfall, the good, the bad, and the ugly, a critical overview. I'm going to be going over everything that I liked, did not like, and potential scary problems that I saw from my experiences with the beta and with some of the private playtesting that I've had with this game and some of my online researching, because I did find some, we'll say, unseemly things about the game. The topic here is going to be more on the negative side of things. We're going to have more bad and ugly than good, because just about everybody will tell you that the game is good, beautiful, awesome, and perfect. Even I like the game, but it does have flaws. However, we will start off with one good thing, and one good thing about this game is that the movement feels amazingly natural, and it really sets this game apart from Call of Duty, from Battlefield, from other shooters. The kind of easy on-the-go parkour movement that you're able to do here is really, really good feeling. It's not clunky, it's not awkward, you don't stick to the walls, it's not super hard to do, it's not impossible, or it feels really, really good, and I feel like I am really in control of myself in a way that I haven't felt since I played Quake or Unreal on the PC way back in the day, and I think that's a good thing. The bad part of this is that not all of the maps are really laid out to encourage movement, or at least not constant movement. Sometimes you just want to use the movement to get above people and shoot down on them. A lot of times in the, it's called Hardpoint, it's very similar to Call of Duty Domination, where you have to guard an objective or protect it. They really encourage camping more than they do movement. There's some very interesting movement-oriented ways you can assault a building, but once you're in there or holding that point or, guarding it or whatever, camping basically pays the bills. That's what works, and unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to change. I don't know if that's player behavior. I don't know if, 3 weeks into this game, everybody's going to throw away camping and be running around like crazy. That would be nice, but there is going to be camping no matter what you do. And the ugly part of the movement system is that I don't feel that the tutorial emphasized this enough. 95% of the people that I played this game with online played this game like it was Call of Duty with double jumps. They didn't care that you could wall run, they didn't care that you could wall hang, that you could shoot somebody while flying across the sky or go turbo boost or anything. They played it just like it was Call of Duty, always walking up the stairs, always taking the beaten path. Instead of using those big billboards and walls and stuff as launch pads, they used them as cover. They are to have a dual function both as cover and launch pads, but a lot of people didn't see that, and whatever sort of training or education that the game had to kind of encourage people to use the new movement system did not work at all. Tons of people were just playing Call of Duty, and that drove me bonkers. Now I'm going to move on to the ugliest part about this game, the thing about this game that I don't like more than anything, and that's the fact that PlayStation users can't play it. And you're going to think, well, that's crazy. You're playing on Xbox One here. For those of you that know my channel, I've uploaded a ton of Xbox. I'm mostly an Xbox gamer. I have a PlayStation 4. I play it. I don't post the videos quite as much. It's more of a casual system of me, though I do plan to in the future. But I feel it's a shame that PlayStation users are not going to get to play Titanfall. I'm going to try to kill that Titan with my Titan. I'm not sure if I'm going to get him, or, oh, got him. Very, very nice there. But I don't even think this was a decision by Respawn, but somewhere in the EA hierarchy or corporate structure, they decided to take a payout from Microsoft and do it. And again, it's not something that maybe necessarily, all developers hate Sony. Let's all get together in our evil little cabal and be like, ha 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 ha, PlayStation users, clearly you have the better console, but we won't let you enjoy it. It's probably more like Microsoft offered a buttload of money that would pretty much cover all of the development costs if they would go, Microsoft exclusive. And for a startup title, unlike Call of Duty, where you don't have that kind of crazy money that they have, you have to take that deal. That covers the entire cost of development of the game and minimizes your risk, and nobody, because of that, in the PlayStation family is going to get to experience this game unless they get it on PC or they go out and buy an Xbox One, which is really, really sad. And another sad thing is, and this is a rumor, I don't have the ability to confirm this, it just showed up on the internet, that the Xbox 360 version of Titanfall is not actually Titanfall. And you're going to like, what do you mean? They're selling kind of like Titanfall, or like Titanfall in quotes? Supposedly, Respawn did not want to make this game for Xbox 360, but somebody somewhere in EA decided that there weren't going to be enough Xbox One units sold, or the PC gamers weren't going to buy enough for it to be profitable, so they had to go to Xbox 360 to recoup profits, and they actually got a completely different development studio to develop the game for Xbox 360, so it'll be a port from a different studio, and I don't know how good it's going to be. It might be a great port, it might be an amazing port and still be an awesome game and run fine, and all of my complaints be completely and totally unfounded, but I just don't believe that's true, and I have a feeling that it won't be marketed as such. I have a feeling that Titanfall Xbox 360 will be marketed with PC and Xbox One gameplay, and people will buy that and unfortunately get a very different experience, and I hope that's not the case. Again, I hope it's awesome, but that might not be what's going on here. I'll go with a good topic. Let's get off the ugly for just a little bit. Let's go with good. There were a lot of complaints about the burn cards, and the best thing I can say about the burn cards is that they're very short-lived. When you die, your burn card is gone. Burn cards are kind of like temporary boosters or perks in this game. A lot of people didn't like them because they're generally pretty powerful, but you get them for one life. You have to use them and burn them, and if you die, I mean, I had a really awesome one time called Ghost Squad. It made me permanently invisible. I was basically the Predator. Nobody had to see me, and I sneaked up behind the entire team, and I was getting ready to go for my pentakill or hexakill or whatever, except I'm a YouTuber, so I wanted to be fancy. I wanted to wall run and jump and piggyback and like do some crazy neck-breaking shotgun spraying, and I missed, and I shot, and everybody knew I was there, and they turned around and hosed me and killed me immediately, and the super rare Ghost Squad burn card that I busted my balls to get was gone, and it wasn't coming back. In a way, that's fair, because one of the things I'm going to write on here as ugly is that some of the burn cards really are tremendously overpowered. Permanent invisibility, permanent ability to see through walls, permanent, faster health regeneration. There's some, permanent, perfect mini-map vision to see everybody all the time. Some of these are really, really, really strong and can be abused. I mean, I've actually done whole commentaries. I probably still will upload one where I used my burn card and I played smart and I kept it with me the whole game because I didn't die. But when you die, they're gone. If you kill a guy with a burn card, you've ruined his day, and it gives you bonus points. It says burn card terminated, which is kind of cool. And one thing that I will say about them that is good is I talked to developers about burn cards. As soon as I saw them in my private playtesting, I was like, oh man, they're going to sell like these burn card packs, and it's going to be like, dude, pay so many Microsoft points or dollars and get your bonus burn card for the day, or buy a whole pack of cards. I could just see it going like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. And I talked to the developers and it was just no, 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 no. Like a flat, staunch no. Like I insulted his sense of game design by suggesting that they sell them. He said he will absolutely never do pay to win. He will never sell burn cards. They will never sell boosts. They will never sell overpowered anything, which is very good. I absolutely admire them for that. Like there are not going to be any burn card booster packs you can buy, so whoever takes mommy's credit card can't just load it up with all the really cool stuff and dominate you. Just not going to happen. Another good thing is that the really powerful ones are very rare. Most of them are like you run a little faster, or you get an extra ability, or you get a gun. Most of the really, really cool ones like X-ray vision or permanent cloaking are rare. The entire time I played, I only got the cloaking once, and I got the X-ray vision twice, and there were some other ones like permanently faster move speed and permanently like regenerating ammo. I never got those. I never got to experience them, and I probably put like 10-15 hours into the beta total, which is a lot for me. I play in short spurts and I play really hard. Never got them, so the crazy OP stuff is going to be rare. The next item I'm going to list is in the good category for me, but for many players they listed it in the bad category. I guess you could call it good or bad, and that's that the gunplay feels a lot like Call of Duty. Some people like that it's a very natural transition. Some people hate it because they wanted something such a radical departure from COD they would take anything that's different. But the gunplay looks and feels like Call of Duty. Fast-firing, high-damage, low-recoil weapons that are simple to handle and understand. It's got Call of Duty written all over it. It was done for this. It's this way for a reason. The number one reason is probably because it was made by the former Infinity Ward Call of Duty team or whatever. The number two reason is that, and I've heard other developers complain about this, everybody plays Call of Duty. Everybody has played Call of Duty. Call of Duty, even if it's not the golden standard, it is the standard by which other games are judged. The average gamer will play a game and relate it to Call of Duty, and if it doesn't transfer very well, they might not like it. So if you're going to have a successful shooter in the current marketplace, you have to have that very Call of Duty-esque feel to the guns and how they aim and how they shoot, or people just won't play your game, and that's a reality that you have to live with. It may make this game better, because to be fair, Call of Duty has very good feeling guns that a lot of people like, and that's one of the core contributing factors to the success of the series. And the other thing is, well, it's not for everybody. Sometimes people wanted some really, really different stuff, and you're not going to be getting that in terms of the standard just gunplay. Now, when you add parkour and melee and all the abilities and stuff, yes, it's very different in Titanfall, but the very basic feel of the guns and how you aim down sight and shoot is the same. I'll toss a bad in here. There is no competitive support for this game. This game is not going to launch with a pro mode. It's not going to launch with like a hardcore ranking series like League of Legends. There's not going to be LAN support. There's not going to be any big EA multi-million-dollar tournament to found pro teams or get a pro scene going on. That is not one of the goals and objectives of Titanfall. I'm trying really hard to parkour right here, and this I'm just kind of screwing it up, but I promise you I'm going to pick up in a little bit. The developers focused on creating a very good, smooth-feeling public game with public matches that anybody can go in and play with matchmaking, and they didn't really want the competitive scene. Not that they, I might have said that wrong, not that all the devs they talked to were like, we hate pros, pros are evil, ha ha ha. They decided it was more prudent to them to build the game, to play and be fun the way they wanted to play it, and if pros liked it, and if pros wanted to play it competitively, that they would find a way, which leads me to the next part. I do not believe it is going to launch with with private matches. The ability to add private matches is going to be coming shortly after launch, so any sort of pro scene that may or may not develop will have to be sometime after launch. They do plan to support the game. I talked to them, they're really big on support, but there's not going to be any competitive at launch because they only had so many resources and decided to focus on some things, which, if you haven't noticed, we've got in my opinion, what should be a good game here, minus the fact that it has flaws that we're going over today, so there is something to be said for focus. The ugly part of the professional side of this is that it would be a very difficult game to play professionally. Pro players really hate things that they would label as cheap, or variables that they can't control, such as AI. I mean, you like it in Call of Duty, you know, you get your AI squad support and your dogs and your supposedly overpowered explosives and stuff. This game is all about, just off-the-wall crazy stuff, kind of like, I keep likening it to Quake and Unreal more than any other game, but that's how it feels to me. And the pro players don't take to that very well. They also don't take to the massive amounts of AI running around. The AI never really bothered me. They're basically in potato mode. They kind of add a sense of scale to the battle without making you, what is the word I'm looking for here? They don't threaten you, but they make you feel like you're part of a larger conflict than you really are with only 6v6, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but they can occasionally kill you. If you rush a group of specters or grunts, you can get overwhelmed and die, and that would drive a pro player bonkers. I don't know if they can handle that. I think they would just go crazy if they got killed by a grunt, but that's how it is. The next thing that's good is that Titans are not overpowered. They're really, really not. There were a lot of people that were worried that Titans were going to be monstrously OP, that they're just going to dominate, that like the first person to get the Titan is going to win the game and stomp the map. That's not true. Titans are strong. Don't get me wrong. Titans are not weak. They're very strong and they can be very deadly in the right hands. And they're also very fun. It is a very satisfying feeling to stamp around the map on a Titan and squash people and, shoot up all the AI and that sort of stuff. But they're not overpowered. They're actually quite easy to take down. I just got rodeoed right there. If I had been a little bit slower, he could have killed my Titan with no problem. He still might get my Titan. I'm still shooting him. And the bad part of Titans is that they're ultimately a support streak. During the course of a game, everybody will get a Titan regardless of their performance. When you spawn in, there's a 3-minute timer and it just starts kind of counting down, and you're going to get your Titan. I mean, the game is kind of called Titanfall, so I suppose people will be pissed if they manage to not get Titans somehow. But it seems kind of easy to get, and you don't have to kill a whole lot of people to reduce the timer. It seems like, they have Oprah in there, and it's like, and you get a Titan, and you get a Titan, and you get a Titan, and everybody gets a Titan. It's just too easy, especially by the end of the game, because a lot of people save them up. So at the very end of the game, there's just like 12 Titans stamping around the map all the time. It's just too much to deal with. I personally think they should have a longer countdown, or when you die, your timer will decrease, or just something to kind of cut back on the ridiculousness of how easy it is to get a Titan. Whew. The Titan movement is good, and the gameplay is very natural feeling. All of the controls carry over almost one for one with your pilot gameplay, so when you hop in the Titan, there's nothing really new or special to memorize. It's pretty normal. I mean, nobody that I saw playing this game had any problems adapting to Titan gameplay at all. However, believe it or not, I have found myself having more fun and being a more effective killer as a pilot than I did as a Titan. Toward the later stages of the game, I left my Titan in auto mode or in follow mode, which is just the AI where it follows me around and engages things near me. It's not very smart. The AI is not overpowered. Matter of fact, the AI on the Titans is pretty stupid if you ask me. But that's how I left it, and I would just run around as a pilot doing my thing and let the Titan just kind of do its thing, which I don't know if that means good or bad depending on your opinion. If you're worried about overpowered Titans, I'd be more worried about overpowered pilots, but if you're worried about the Titan being boring, then maybe that could be a concern for you, because I didn't use, like I'm telling you, the more I played this game, the more I just piloted parkour all day, every day. Which brings me to my next point. This is an ugly topic. It's often hard to distinguish between pilots, grunts, and specters, especially if the pilots aren't moving. They all do look a little different, they have different labels, but when they're kind of far away, or you just kind of glance at them, a lot of times it is easy to mix up a pilot for a grunt, and the only really distinguishing factor is that people, human beings, move in inherently different ways than the AI do. Even AI that has similar abilities like the Spectre, human beings are just going to move differently, and that's what makes them easier to spot. However, some very clever and maybe more enterprising individuals than myself would get in a group of grunts and just kind of stand there and walk around with them and plod around with them. So I would see like a group of 3 or 4 grunts, and they're not a threat to me at all. They're like minions in League of Legends. I'd see them be like, okay, you know, these guys are toast. I'm just going to walk on over there and shotgun them all. And I'd walk over and get close, and the pilot would wait and wait. And once I got close enough to realize that the model of these grunts were different, I would just get hosed by a light machine gun or something. They would like use them as their disguise and occasionally use them as meat shields, which was clever, but it was frustrating to me. And I think that there needs to be a different color scheme perhaps on the pilots and the grunts and the specters, or perhaps a rescaling or something to really make the pilots stand out, because sometimes I really do screw these up. The next section is going to be both good and bad. It's a good bad. And the good bad is that your abilities, both for your Titans and your pilots, are very strong. In your Titan, you can block bullets to catch them and throw them back. There's one that disintegrates bullets. You can drop an electric fog that electrocutes any infantry in the area. You can dash, get double damage, you can get more health. As a pilot, you can get a health regen booster, you can get a run speed booster, you can see through walls, you can turn invisible. You can do some really strong stuff. But everybody else also has really strong stuff, so it's kind of play and counterplay. And even though it seems like it would be nutty OP, it worked pretty well in the beta. I didn't feel myself underpowered or outclassed, or that a kill was cheap very often. That's in the beta. I don't know what's going to happen when the general public gets their hands on it, and when everybody has time to play and try to find the cheapest thing in the world. I don't know what could happen. It worked fine in the beta and it was really fun, but in the in the general public it could get really out of hand. I'm going to write this as a good thing, and we'll talk about it in a bad perspective in a little bit. There's no single-player campaign in Titanfall. Titanfall is exclusively multiplayer. The dev team just wanted to make a multiplayer game. At some point, there was plan for a single-player, so they scrapped it and merged all of the multiplayer, single-player elements into the multiplayer. So it's kind of like one of those multiplayer games that you play that has a story in the background, maybe kind of like Zombies, or kind of like League of Legends, where there's all this lore and stuff that you can read about outside of the multiplayer that makes the multiplayer maps feel more immersive. But as far as I'm aware, there is no single-player campaign. There may actually be a co-op mission that is as of yet unrevealed. I don't know entirely. Some people say this is a very bad thing. There are some people that legitimately love single-player experiences, and there's some games that I also enjoy playing single-player. Some people want a single-player and a multiplayer package with their game, but Titanfall is only going to be delivering the multiplayer package. The good thing about this game, surprisingly, is the AI. The AI actually helps make the game feel better. I talked about this before. They make it feel like you're in the middle of a war. The AI mostly engage with each other. They're not really a threat to you. They'll take down your Titan on occasion, but very rarely will they kill you as a pilot or really muck up your life too much. And it makes it feel like you are part of a greater struggle, and that the pilots that you fight and the Titans that you fight, they're like heroes. They're like champions of old. Like when you engage on a pilot on the enemy team, it's not a normal enemy. Like in Call of Duty or Battlefield, when you're fighting a person, they are a normal person. That is your standard enemy. But in Titanfall, because there's so many AI, that's really more your normal enemy. When you do engage on a person, on a pilot, it feels like a personal 1v1 battle, like a true challenger has risen up to perhaps kill you and put you down for good, and you really get a little sweaty and have to play. And I thought it was a good thing. There were some people that really hated the AI. They just loathed the AI into oblivion, but I disagree with them. Another good thing we're moving on to, weapons are all balanced. They kill people quickly, they're easy to use, no one weapon seems overpowered than the other. Even the auto pistol, which locks on, is not really overpowered because it takes longer to lock on than I could just kill somebody with my assault rifle. Not once was I killed with the auto pistol that the person that killed me with the auto pistol could not have just as easily shot me with an assault rifle or submachine gun, sniper rifle, or anything else. Auto pistol is just a fun, goofy kind of gun for you to shoot grenades out of air and maybe like wall run and lock on to people. It takes a long time to kill a pilot with the smart pistol. It just doesn't work that great. A bad thing is, though, is that the amped versions of these weapons are not even remotely balanced, and they shred people. If you use a burn card and you get an amped LMG, an amped assault rifle, an amped smart pistol, oh my god, they're crazy. They're like double damage, and they blow you up into giblets. They're so strong. They're not even remotely balanced, and the bad thing about the amped weapon cards is you get them all the time. I had so many amped cards, I was just throwing them away. Like, 50 caliber sniper rifle with explosive rounds? I don't need that. Smart pistol with double lock on? Ugh, not powerful enough. I just chunk them. I had them all the time. I used them. I got great gameplays with them, but they were way too frequent. Getting down to the very end of the video into some more ambiguous topics that I would like to bring up, but perhaps not label. Number one is that the art is future grungy. It is an outer space, hard sci-fi, we're working hard out on the frontier, fighting the war, kinda dusty sci-fi, and that works for me. That's probably like my favorite genre of anything. I'm big into sci-fi. I like that sort of hard sci-fi feel, but it's not for everyone. That's kind of a risky thing to take. Not everybody's going to, that's not going to appeal to everybody's sensibilities. Some people like realistic, some people like modern, some people like old, some people like fantasy stuff. And putting it in sci-fi is putting it in a niche that's going to, repel some people that just aren't going to like it. And the true unknowns, we've got 4 big things that could totally bugger up this game that we don't know how it's going to work. That's cloud computing. The Xbox One is going to be the first game to use the Azure servers, the cloud computing, and part of your calculations are going to be done on the cloud. I have no idea how that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to cause lag. I don't know if it's going to cause weird graphical issues. I don't know if it's going to work at all. I've never seen anything like it. The matchmaking servers could go wrong. They're all dedicated servers. They could get lagged or DDoSed. The game could have launch issues. Honestly, it probably will have launch issues. I just don't want it to have launch issues that last for very long. I want it to resolve very quickly, and those are a lot of unknowns. This has been a very long video, but I feel like I've discussed everything that I really need to discuss, good, bad, and ugly, about Titanfall. I hope that you learned something useful. I hope you even watched all the way to the end, and I hope you do value my opinions. And honestly, I hope you had fun watching the gameplay too. If you liked it, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.